What are you doing in front of my house? Who are you? Who are you and what are you doing in front of my house? I'm an Uber driver!
Between 2017 and 2020, Uber reported nearly 10,000 cases of assault and over 120 fatalities linked to its platform in the US alone. The reports cover a wide range of incidents, from minor disturbances to outright murder. But the case we're about to cover pushes far past the numbers.
An Uber driver in Michigan is suspected of going on a rampage, fatally shooting strangers in between taking fares.
As many of you read, 6 people were gunned down in a rampage in Kalamazoo.
Entirely overwhelmed by the situation, the Kalamazoo police force starts receiving frantic 911 calls by the dozen.
I said to the driver, "You're not the shooter, are you?"
Hello, I need a ambulance, please. Please hurry up.
Okay, so female's down. She's been shot.
Please don't move. They coming, okay? Please don't move. We got the kids. Did anybody see what kind of car it was? My boyfriend and his dad just got shot.
9-10 gunshots right outside our apartment complex.
Hello?
911.
We need someone here.
Okay, ma'am.
Police know a 14-year-old girl named Abby Koff survived and is in critical condition. If she can stay alive, she might be able to help stop the Uber killer.
The 14-year-old was shot at the Cracker Barrel parking lot, along with 4 women who were all killed. At the hospital, Abigail was pronounced dead.
Unfortunately, the 14 years old has passed away as well.
While doctors prepared for organ donation, she squeezed her mother's hand.
It's 10 p.m. on February 20th, 2016. 14-year-old Abby Koff sits at a Cracker Barrel table with her best friend and surrogate grandmother, 68-year-old Barbara Hawthorne. Abby's calm, thoughtful demeanor often surprises others. She has always felt more at ease around older people. The pair had just come from seeing a play downtown, and now, joined by 3 of Barbara's friends, they're sharing a meal and having a good time before heading home. As they step into the parking lot, Barbara reminds Abby not to miss their upcoming knitting class together. The young teen sits in the front passenger seat, and Barbara prepares to drive the group home. 2 of the other women sit in the back, while another steps into a van parked beside them. The teenager is chatting with her grandma when the sound of screeching tires interrupts them. Outside, a black car parked itself behind the vehicles, preventing them from leaving the lot. A loud bang pierces the silence outside. Everybody in the car starts screaming. The teenager knows she's in danger. She rolls up between her seat and the floorboards to hide. Seconds later, even louder bangs are heard. Shards of bloodied glass are sent flying everywhere inside the car. Abby doesn't have time to grasp what is happening before noticing that Barbara is now covering her hiding spot with her upper body. Through the broken window behind, the teenager sees the barrel of a smoking gun pointing right at her.
Kalamazoo County 911.
I'm at the Kalamazoo Cracker Barrel, and there's been gunshots in a car.
Okay, has anybody been hit?
2 cars have been shot up. Dad, I got it.
All right, hold on just a second.
Did you guys see anything? Holy, that kid. They still alive?
Yeah, she is.
Where's he at?
Can you walk?
Oh, we got a problem. That one's dead. He's looking at another one. There's a female in the back seat, driver's side. The little girl's not going to make it.
5 hours earlier, everything seemed fine in the lively city of Kalamazoo. It's winter, but it's warm outside, and the snow is melting. Far in the suburbs, 25-year-old Tiana Carruthers is babysitting her 7-year-old daughter, Kanaya, her niece, and 3 other kids. Tiana had her daughter when she was still a teenager and raised her on her own since then. When Kanaya asks if the group could go outside to meet a friend across the street, her mom accepts, on the condition that she'll tag along to keep an eye on them. Tiana and the girls' walk is interrupted by a man speeding down the street in a silver SUV. It screeches to a stop right in front of them. Behind the wheel is a heavy-set man with disheveled gray hair and wild eyes. He looks straight at her and bluntly says he's here to pick her up. The tone of his voice feels off. Keeping her calm, she says she didn't order an Uber and tells the kids to continue walking. The SUV peels off, tires screeching again, but suddenly, it circles back. Tiana freezes. In seconds, the vehicle's back in front of them. The moment the driver starts pulling something out of his jacket, the young mother orders the kids to run. She sees that the man has a gun. He points it straight at the children. Although she describes the moment as being almost in slow motion, there's no time to think. 5 children are in danger, including her own daughter. Without hesitation, she steps in front of them.
Hello? Hello?
911.
We need someone here.
Okay, ma'am.
Please, we need...
Ma'am, you need to tell me where you are.
Where did they shoot at?
County emergency.
Yeah, hello, I need a ambulance, police. Please hurry up. Somebody fire shots in Savannah Trace Townhome.
Okay, so female's down. She's been shot.
I'm coming. I'm gonna leave it.
Don't move.
I don't know. The car sped off. Please. Please don't move. Please don't move. They coming, okay? Please don't move. We got the kids. Please don't move.
Following the shooting in the suburb, the Uber driver escapes before swapping guns and vehicles. For the remainder of the evening, he alternates between running fares and coldly shooting people at random. The driver, who the police quickly identified as 45-year-old Jason Dalton, shot 7 people before targeting Abby Koff, the 14-year-old he gunned down in the Cracker Barrel parking lot. Now, standing between life and death, things could have gone way worse for the teenager if Barbara, her surrogate grandmother, hadn't intervened to protect her.
One of the women shielded Abby with her own body and took 3 shots.
Barbara and Abby are both in critical condition. First responders rushed them to the hospital, doing everything they can to keep them alive. Despite their efforts, Barbara dies shortly after arriving. Abby, however, makes it to the ICU in time. Bronson's Children's Hospital contacts her mother, Vicky, hesitant to tell her what happened to her daughter.
Oh Lord, where was she shot at? And they wouldn't answer me, and I said, do I have time to make it there? Tell me right now, is she dead? And the lady on the phone said, no, she's not dead. And I said, then where was she shot at? And she said, well, honey, it's serious. And I said, where was she shot at? And she said she was shot in the head.
We made it towards the hospital, and they had the hospital locked down. They walked us up to this room in the ICU, and that's when I saw Abby for the first time.
Abby's head is wrapped in blood-soaked bandages, covering where the bullet has shattered her skull. Vicky later describes the scene as akin to the worst horror movie she could have imagined. An hour later, Abby flatlines. Doctors call the time of death. Vicky can only look, powerless, as the nurses unplug her daughter from the monitor and pull a white drape over her lifeless body. Vicky and her husband lie over the teenager, sobbing, muttering their final goodbyes while the nurses prepare for organ donation. It's then that the desperate mother feels something strange. She's sure of it. Abby just moved.
And I said something to the nurse, and she said, honey, most bodies twitch after they die. She said it's normal. And then I thought I felt it again, and I said, could you please just check her and make me feel better?
A pulse. Somehow, Abby's heart starts beating again. Nurses and doctors soon flood the room. Vicky can barely contain her excitement, but one nurse gently pulls her aside and tells her not to get too hopeful. Even if Abby pulls through, she may show no signs of brain activity.
I was holding Abby's hand, and I looked right at her, and I said, Abby, if you can hear me. I said, this is Mama. I said, if you can hear me at all. I said, give me a sign.
And within a few minutes after that, I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, her hand just slightly went like that. She was trying to draw the letter B in the palm.
She was asking about Grandma Barb, who was killed in the shooting. Police believe she shielded Abby, taking 3 bullets in the chest while she pushed Abby down.
She saved Abby's life.
After mercilessly shooting Barbara and Abby, Jason Dalton plays cat and mouse with the police around the city. Cops pull over 10 vehicles matching the description of his car, desperate to find him, until they begin to tail one that's driving suspiciously. It seems to be trying to avoid them. A short but intense car chase ensues. Then the car suddenly pulls over. Jason had proven himself to be extremely dangerous over the course of the rampage, and the police are expecting the worst.
Windows down. You want to yell at him? What drive you want to do it?
The officers, clad in body armor, guns in hand, slowly approach the vehicle, expecting bullets to be flying their way at any moment. They are completely caught off guard when Jason slides his arms out of his window to surrender.
Gun. Hold up. Step him up. Yep. Body armor? I can't believe he didn't come up here. He didn't quite want to go up. I am surprised that he didn't want to go at it with what we figured that would be.
Following the arrest, investigators shift their focus towards Jason's mental state. They have all the evidence they need, but if Jason's found legally insane, he could avoid prison altogether and turn his sentence into a relatively short hospital stay.
Is there any
any connection for you between any of these people?
No. I know that you guys are gonna talk or believe in this, but it literally took over mind and body.
The Uber app?
Yes.
This Uber thing, when it takes you over,
it literally has control of you.
The police don't want Jason to stop talking, so they indulge him in his demonic possession story. According to him, his phone turned into a horned devil head that took over his mind. With each interview, he becomes more erratic. No one in the police force is buying his story, but they hid it well, and the Uber killer slowly opens up. Eventually, they get him to talk about the attack on Abby, Barbara, and her friends.
I walked up to this lady. So she was $100 and I could her great again. She told me that she didn't have $1 to spend. I shot her. I remember that I shot a small person in the head. You say small person? I can tell the child.
Going over the events in reverse, investigators coax Jason into discussing every crime he committed. Still, he justifies each of his actions by bringing back his demonic possession story. To counter his insanity plea, they'll need a witness who could actually testify to his mental state during the killing spree. 14-year-old Abby survived, but was placed in a medically induced coma for her own safety. As Jason goes on about his crimes like they were accomplishments to be proud of, he eventually brings up his very first victim, 25-year-old single mother, Tiana Carruthers.
Comes to a complete stop. Every minute around the clock. And changing. And I believe that I don't. The whole magazine there. I know I killed her. Because how could you survive that many gunshots?
Tiana's body had been riddled with bullets. Both her legs and her shoulder were shattered. One of the rounds even lodged itself inside her liver, where it should remain for the rest of her life. Paramedics arrived just in time to stabilize her before she bled out. Doctors rebuilt her clavicle and lower body with bolts and metal. She then spent months in rehabilitation to regain the ability to walk. When she was well enough, she began giving interviews.
An Uber driver in Michigan is suspected of going on a rampage earlier this year, fatally shooting strangers in between taking fares. Now, this tragic story made national headlines. Now, during all of the chaos, my next guest risked her life to protect a playground full of kids. Please welcome Tiana.
Expected to testify at Jason Dalton's trial in 2019, Tiana quickly became a hero in the eyes of the nation.
Them 4 kids you was babysitting, they living cause of you. The rest of them kids in the parking lot that you told them to run and don't come back, they living cause of you. That's cause of you.
At that first shooting scene a year ago, it was Tiana Carruthers who shielded several children from the gunman, risking her own life.
She was hailed a hero. 6 people were killed by Dalton. Without Tiana, the death toll could have been much higher.
3 months later, the court assembles for the preliminary hearing. Tiana is the first witness called to the bench. The tension is at its peak. As the sole survivor able to testify, the weight of the entire case is upon her shoulders.
I seen him coming, and I saw it. The
Intimidator cars. They're called They're black. They're black bags. And people drive around and you look at them. It gets real. It's like, hey, it's time to go.
So, Ms. Carruthers, are you okay? Or do we need to take a minute?
The first time I was going to court, I wasn't ready. And I was like, he has no control, but he had the control at that time. It just took me back to the playroom. It took me right back there to that moment. And I just broke down.
Tiana's suffering is laid out for all to see. The judge gives her some time to compose herself before they resume the proceedings, but her trauma seems just too much to bear. Yet, she soldiers on, trying to be brave for the victims who can't be there.
This would have been my opportunity to look him in his eyes and just give the facts, and knowing that him jumping at me or scaring me, he wasn't gonna have that power. I wasn't gonna give it to him because I'm stronger today. And I was telling myself, you can do this. You know, you have to do this. I was the only one who really talked to this man. And if I was gonna put him away, then I needed to step up and do what I needed to do.
Now stuck in front of a camera in the next room over, Jason is going all in with his insanity plea, attempting to use Tiana's own trauma against her.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Ms. Carruthers, thank you for your patience as we made arrangements so we could continue your testimony. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
According to the prosecutors present, his goal was to manipulate her into breaking down before she could retell her side of the story. Events that not only portrayed him as a cold and calculated killer, but as a sane man who, however disturbing, had a normal conversation with her before bullets started flying. Fueled by her newfound confidence, Tiana explains how Jason initially approached her, then made a U-turn and finally pulled out a gun to aim at the many kids she was walking with.
This is all happening like really fast, and I was like, I didn't know if it was real or I didn't know if it was really happening, so I just, reacted fast, and I just told the kids to run and don't come back no matter what, and then I started screaming to the other children that were playing at the playground to run.
And the single person that's in the car has a gun?
Yes.
And he's coming towards you?
Yes.
And you see the gun?
Yes. Honestly, I wasn't concerned about myself. I was concerned about the kids.
But the emotion quickly becomes overwhelming when the prosecutor asks her to describe how it felt to be shot at. Everything rushes back, and Tiana breaks down again. Abby Koff, the 6 victims, and the 4 children who could have died that day. It's almost too much for the young mother.
I'm sorry.
But Tiana needs to keep herself together if she wants to fight back. There's no way she'd let Jason Dalton win again. As he struggles in his chair behind the screen, she keeps going as best she can.
After I realized he wasn't going to stop shooting, I just pretended like I was dead already. And after he pulled off, and I realized he was gone, that's when I started screaming for the kids. When I laid there, just screaming for the kids. I remember everything about it. I could never forget anything. I could never forget his face. I see his face all the time.
Tiana's testimony changes everything. Following the hearing, Jason drops the act, the erratic behavior, the demonic possession. It was all fake. His lawyer still pushes for a psychological evaluation, but every expert consulted agrees his client is sane, fully competent, and was aware of his actions during the events. With no other options left, Jason requests a plea hearing without conditions.
Doing this voluntarily of your own free will?
Yes, I've wanted this for quite a while.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
My name is Tiana Carruthers, survivor of Jason Dalton's crimes. You tried to kill us all. You failed. I'm standing here, right here, in your face, in front of you. How does it make you feel? Look at me. How does it make you feel?
With Jason heading to prison for life without parole and Tiana on the way towards psychological and physical recovery, only one question remains. What happened to Abby?
Go ahead. 1, 2, 3. Good.
Can you wave? I almost died. And my mom was a basket case. She sat by my bed, however long I was in a coma. She just sat there and waited for me to wake up. When I did, I remember her crying with happy tears. Yes, I know.
The road to recovery was extremely challenging for the 14-year-old. She had to relearn everything almost from scratch. Even though she was making good progress physically, she also had to learn how to deal with the retrograde amnesia caused by her head injury.
A couple weeks later, I said, "What happened to me?" I said, "Don't sugarcoat it." And she walked in and said, "Honey, you were shot in the head, and the bullet shattered your skull."
She cried, and she didn't say anything at that point. And a couple hours later, she'd ask me again what happened to me, because she couldn't remember it. She couldn't retain it.
Every day, for months, Abby has to be reminded not only of the incident, but also of the murder of Barbara, her loving grandmother, who sacrificed everything to save her life.
I asked about Grandma Barb. When I found out she was shot, I almost lost it. Why had it to be me and why had it to be Grandma Barb? We both didn't deserve it. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. I miss her unconditionally. Every single day.
But Abby persevered. She even went to prom in 2019, just 2 months after Jason Dalton's conviction. With the case coming to an end, Laura Hawthorne, Barbara's niece, finally puts her heroic aunt to rest.
She always wanted to go on a hot air balloon ride. So I took her ashes to Sedona and went in a hot air balloon and left her out there in the desert. So she's right where she wanted to be.